Up before the sun today. Let's go make us some of that premium dairy hay. Morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. In the wise words of Hector, we got the little scooter today. Well, she may be a little scooter, but by God, this thing will get up and go. Right, turn that on, and then now we just run the hydraulics. You gotta make sure you're moving when you do this, or you'll just rip the tires right off. That's not good. Bingo. Flip this to wings. Bingo. Hector's an overachiever. I think he slept in his tractor. We got just a little sprinkle yesterday, and it really messed up this windshield. But we got us a full party now. Cameron and Bart made it with the balers. Like I said earlier, Hector's in the other rake. The sun's coming up, and with that, I realized I made a massive mistake. Left my sunglasses in the pickup. That's not good. And my hat. I got nothing. It's gonna be a long morning. There's gonna be a couple bales out of this field. Holy crap. They're gonna hate that winter I left back there too. Now, a minute ago when you were riding on there, you may have noticed the leaf loss. That's obviously not good. The leaf is where all the nutrients are in this. You want as much of that as possible. That's why we do this when there is higher humidity, because the retention is a lot stronger. But you have to be willing to have some give and take in this business. If I was to go really slow like I am now, because that windrow was big, so I was taking it easy, we would cover a fraction of the acres and extend our window of baling day-wise, opening ourselves up to chance of rain. If we go faster, you get across more acres in a day. Hector. You get across more acres in a day, then you can avoid the random pop-up showers. Take yesterday, for example, 10% chance of rain. A little after lunch, a random thunderstorm builds right on top of us. Neighbor 2 miles to the east had 0.8 of an inch. Any high quality hay he had on the ground is no longer high quality hay. Hector, what in the hell did you leave me here? The wind blew this a little bit. Makes it a little harder when you can't hardly find the rows because they're so blown around. You guys are going to spend a little while cleaning up. Bart's been stopped for a while. That's a little concerning. But yeah, so right now we're trying to put up premium hay. 2 problems. 1, random pop-up showers. 2, 102 degrees, 103 degrees, high temperatures the last several days, and 30-mile-an-hour winds. This was cut barely 3 days ago, and we're already baling it. Normally, it's 4 days. So that high wind and heat is buying us a day, which works in our favor for putting up the hay, but it works against us at growing any crops, because that wind and heat just sucks the life out of the plants. So, I don't know where I was going with that. Let's keep going back and forth. Give me a minute. The hamster eventually gets back on the wheel, and I remember what I was thinking. So, with the high heat and winds, what that's doing is shrinking our daily baling window. In order to make really premium hay, you need 60% humidity, kind of that 60 to 65% for as long a window as you can. Here it is, 6 a.m. The sun came up about an hour ago, and I can feel the heat coming in. So I know we're already starting to lose our humidity. So if we slow down to retain more leaves, we've got maybe 2 hours a day we can bale. If we go slow, that's that many less acres in a day. That's a major problem. Alternative would be a steamer, but that's just Not in the budget right now. And that would not help with the raking part of it. Okay. Bart's back up and going. Hector's leaving me a jigsaw puzzle. Let's figure it out. I'm gonna say our cold front is here because the wind switched to out of the north, and it's getting fairly strong, as you can tell looking at the dust. Son of a gun. Well, I had a bunch of spraying we were hoping to do today because we're getting water back again already. You guys are cleaning that up. The wind can't make up its mind whether it wants to blow or be decent. I'm gonna go see what chemical I have to figure out which loads I can spray. The wind has really died down. It just kind of gusts now. It'll pick up and then die off and pick up and die off. So I'm gonna load the first load. Of course, as I'm walking in now, here comes another gust. I freaking hate this. Sorry guys, I forgot I threw the camera in the backpack. Completely forgot I had a video going today. Started off with 30 acres of pre-emerge on feed, where I had a nice buffer zone. The wind was all over the place, but if it started to gust up, I'd just stop, wait 5 minutes, and then drop back down. Then I knocked out 90 acres of corn. Now I'm working on the 80-acre pre-emerge on feed again. And again, feed and forage sorghum I will use interchangeably. But can you guys see the ripples out there? It's like I'm driving across rumble strips. This is insane. But I'm just about done, which is good. It's 1:15. I'm supposed to be in town in 15 minutes to certify our corn acres with the FSA. I'll go over that in a minute. First, I'm going to finish this and finish my lunch. Just going to leave that right there for now. Okay, I'm about 10 minutes behind. So, not too bad from what I thought it was going to be. I emailed them to tell them I was going to be late. So what is certifying corn? So you got to go to the USDA building, United States Department of Ag. Talk to the FSA office, Farm Service Agency, and you have to tell them what you have planted where so far this year. The main thing is going to be corn, but like I'll need to certify our alfalfa we planted this spring. I think that's it. Maybe the sorghum, I can't remember. Either way, so basically I'm going in there to certify corn, which means we go map by map and I tell them where I planted corn and when I planted it. Why do I have to give them that information? Honestly, I don't know. Because I will then have to turn around now and go to my crop insurance agent office. Crop insurance agent's office. Words are hard today. And I will have to do the exact same thing with them. Go farm by farm, map by map. What I planted where, when, all that stuff. And if for some reason there's a discrepancy between the FSA numbers and the crop insurance numbers, they just throw out your crop insurance. What? I don't get it. I don't get why the FSA just can't use the crop insurance numbers and say, cool, let's go with that. No, they have to have their own set of maps. And I joke with them every time. They are so dark. You can't hardly see field boundaries on half of them. And then you're sitting there trying to draw on it with a highlighter, which I don't know if you've ever tried to run a highlighter across really dark colors. It doesn't do much. So it's almost a 100% guarantee. Now it is a 100% guarantee. This will take multiple trips to the FSA office to straighten it out. Between having like 6 different landlords and different splits with all them landlords, we're a complicated mess. What can I say? But I just found the video title. But it's one of those things you got to do. I really don't know why, but you got to do it. So I'm gonna go do it. I'll let you know how it goes. It's 2:15. The easy part's over. So when I show up, she just has a stack of all of our maps. I go through and handwrite everything on it, and then 2 ladies in there go through and start uploading it all into the computer. That's where everything starts to go sideways. So I'm gonna go check a pivot and then come back because it's gonna take them a little while. We got 1 or 2 different maps. 3:45, 2 hours. Look at all them beautiful papers. Oh, that was fun. Got everything signed. We'll see. Only had to revise 3 maps. That was genuinely one of the simpler ones. Tuna's probably going to find something I've marked wrong though. Either way, back north. Let's get out of town. Had about 10 acres worth of chemical left in there, so I went ahead and sprayed it out on a field Cameron just planted. I wanted to point this out. I know a large number of you weren't here 2 months ago when the chemical showed up. This whole wall was full of chemical. Got 3 empties over there, 2 almost empties there that we're just using on the little sprayer. We've gone through a lot of stuff. We've covered a lot of acres. Told my dad that sprayer this year alone has already covered, what's it up to now, 2,800 acres? That's a pretty busy year. Let's go see. Oh crap, we need to go see if we got hay to bale tonight. Almost forgot my son had a baseball game tonight, so here it is, 8 o'clock. Now we're checking. So this will bale tonight. For those of you new to the channel, so what I was doing there is checking for stem moisture. So in order to bale hay, you have to get all the stem moisture out of it first. If you bale it with stem moisture, that moisture is packed in that bale so tight, it starts to get hot. And as that heat just continues to keep rising, eventually it'll spontaneously combust. There's, at a minimum, 2 or 3 bale piles catch on fire kind of in the general area here every year from a hot bale. So if you want it to be good premium hay that you want to put in a barn, you've got to get out and check it before you bale, because you don't want to show up and start baling something and find out later that, oh, that wasn't ready yet. So we got 40 acres of alfalfa that'll go tonight. If we put it up right, it'll be barn quality. I wonder if our 25 acres of oats that was cut the same day is ready. Oh, whoa, hold the camera. Before I go check the oats though, I want to run up and look at where we baled this morning. I'm curious how many bales they were able to put in the barn and how many are outside. Looks a lot better now. It's all cleaned up and doesn't have hay blowing all over the place. So I've been talking a lot today about barn hay, dairy hay, and some of you are probably going, what the hell are you even talking about? When it comes to alfalfa, anytime I say hay, I'm strictly talking alfalfa. We don't do grass hay and all that other types of hay that you hear about all over the country. Around here, when people are talking about hay, they're talking about alfalfa. Just clarify that. So, what's the difference between barn hay and what we would just refer to as grinder hay? Barn hay is clean field, no weeds, or very minimal weeds, that was baled right with the humidity, you know, the dew coming in to get just a little bit of moisture in there. There's a big difference between dew moisture and stem moisture. Dew moisture will burn out, or I should say air out, not burn out, where stem moisture will burn out. You want a little bit of moisture in it from the dew. That also helps it hold the leaves. You don't want too much moisture, obviously, because of the fires. You want it to look green and pretty. And then most of all, you want to have a shed to put it in so it stays green and pretty. So everything they baled this morning, it looked like there was about 26 bales they put over there in the outdoor pile that were bad bales. Either they hit a wet spot, turn rows a lot of times because they get drove over, they'll wind up having a spot in them. But you come over here, those bales were already there. This whole pile was from today. That's a good pile for one day. especially for us, I should say. So that hay being in a shed, being nice and pretty, that will all go to dairies in the Texas Panhandle. That's where the vast majority of premium alfalfa in this area goes to. Actually, the vast majority of all the alfalfa in this area goes to the Texas Panhandle. There is a ton of cattle down there, a lot of dairies. So anything we can put in a shed, we can market that to dairies and get a premium for that alfalfa over what sits outside. The problem with what sits outside is the sun fades it so it turns really brown, pale looking. Rain soaks into it and gets it all striped and it can get moldy. Stuff like that works great in just a ground hay ration for like feedlot cattle. It's perfectly fine to feed, but the dairies want that good green hay, because if they start feeding inferior products, their milk production can take a hit. And when it comes to dairies, they want to maximize their milk because that's where they make their money. Makes sense. This year, since there is a big price difference between what we call grinder hay outside and the premium hay inside, we put a lot of money into trying to keep these fields clean, and we're trying really hard to put them up right to get that extra money. Last year, not quite at this time. At this time, things had changed. A little bit earlier than this, like in May. There wasn't much of a difference between the grinder hay and the dairy hay price-wise, because we were in a drought and there was nothing. When the quantity of each gets scarce, the prices on both are high. But if you remember, May and June became a rainforest around here. We fought and fought to put up first cutting hay, and we fought and fought with spring silage. Well, the beauty part of all that rain meant we had a lot more alfalfa start growing. As an alfalfa farmer, the downside of it was all the subpar stuff started growing, like weeds, grasses, stuff like that. All of a sudden, everybody was baling anything they could make into a windrow. Weeds, grass, everything that could be baled was baled. Well, that's really nice at the time, because all of a sudden, hey, here's a field I wasn't going to do anything with. Now I have a crop I can go out there and get. We baled so many weeds last year, but in doing so, we knew all we were doing was driving the grinder hay market down, because all of a sudden, here's all this filler. It's still good for them. It's still highly digestible. If you put up kosher weeds and stuff like that correctly, it can be very nutritious, and it's a lot cheaper than alfalfa. So all of a sudden you start getting this big surplus of other types of bales. It takes that grinder market and just starts pulling it down. So you have all these piles of all this non-alfalfa still sitting around because there was so much of it. It all didn't get used up last year. Well, what that's done is kept that grinder alfalfa market down, but the premium is still up here. So that just makes you work that much harder to try and get that premium. Does that make sense? That's enough talk about alfalfa. Now let's talk about oats. So these were cut the same day as the hay I was checking earlier. Oh. Yeah, there's a little bit. See how that's still pretty green right there? This is something that we would have to rake and let it lay all day to dry out. And we don't have that luxury because we're talking about thunderstorms starting in the middle of the night tonight and going through tomorrow night. So this we'll probably just leave alone, have to ride out the storms and see what happens. So if you like oats, like oatmeal, stuff like that, anything with oats in it, there is what it looks like when it's grown. Oh, I've got multiple here. There we go. There's an oat plant. Inside of here is what you would combine. There he is, hiding in there. That's what you would combine to turn into oatmeal. So oats are a very, very good feed source for cattle. What we will do is try to put those up to where we can put them in a shed, keep them covered. Then when we buy new cattle in the winter and when we have sick cattle, we'll put in a bale of oats. One, it just gets them up, gets them eating, gets their stomach full. If they got food moving through them 4 stomachs, That's going to start helping their overall body health. It's when they're not eating, after they start to get sick, that's when things can go really sideways on you. If you can get a bale in there that's really easy for them to get to and snack on, that gets all that gut health going. It's just like a person. I mean, you got to eat the right things, but when you're not feeling good, if you don't eat, it's going to kind of make it worse sometimes. But if you do eat a little bit of the right stuff, it kind of gets all your innards going and it gets you feeling better. Shaping up to be another good looking sunset. Well guys, the day started at 5 a.m. Here it is a little after 8. I think it's time to call it night. Go home, eat some dinner, line up a hay crew for in the morning, and we'll see what happens. Not seeing any clouds forming yet, but it's still early. Catch you in the next one. I thought I was going to take a shower and go to bed, but the weather gods decided different. Where is... oh, there it is. Never used the lights on this tractor. That'll work. Raking in the wind sucks. See how that row is trying to go up and over the wheels? That's no way, no. Just making a mess out of a mess. It's only 15 acres. We're gonna be okay. Oh yeah, I suppose I should tell you. Bart found some tough stuff in the field I checked with the camera on. So we're gonna leave it. So all we got is one field. Then I can go to bed. There just went a big old chunk up and over. Now, if I slow all the way down to 5 miles an hour, you just seen that. Big old chunk just went up and over. So I don't want to hear it. Well, if you slow down, it won't happen. Yeah, alright. It's 10 o'clock. My eyes have gotten crazy, heavy, tired. I'm gonna go home, take a shower, and go to bed. See you guys in the next one.